Well, I had a plan, guys, but you guys all blew my socks off. Suspect. We say tomorrow like it is a promise. So assured of our influence on fate, we have always looked to the heavens and depended on the blue sky. We know that the sun will rise and that the moon will set. It is assumed that we will greet the stars at night. We forget. Sometimes the earth shakes and the storms wail and the seas rise up, pushing levees aside. Now and again the oceans roil and a tsunami washes everything away. It is a temporary thing, this life. And tomorrow does not always keep its promise. Photographs of America, KKK history. This is not a scrapbook for children. They are not photos for polite company, but these photos also define America. The woman running down the road naked after a napalm attack in Vietnam. The lynching of 3 or 4 black people in the book called The Movement, where white people gathered like they were going on a Sunday picnic. One couple in particular stand out. A young white man staring at the camera with his hands resting on the shoulders of a young white girl who's probably his girlfriend. Then there's the photo of young Emmett Till, barely 14, in his open casket. His mother dared to let America see what they had done to her boy. He was beaten and had his eye gouged out and then was thrown into the Tallahatchie River with a cotton gin fan around his neck. America, you cannot sink your sins. I pity the fool that forgets you are a bloodthirsty nation. Wounded Knee, My Lai, disappointment sows seeds of sorrow. Regret does nothing for me. We have witnessed your bloodlust, America. We have seen your children seemingly unchanged by the death of others' children dying in forced detention, mothers and fathers whose babies have been stolen. We have been broken down and remade, not in your image, America, but in our own. And these are photos that help me see you as you are. Yes. Splashback. Missing John Trudell. Wading into the pool with disaster as a sidekick. Morning and water felt a bit too familiar. Like emissaries from a place that wants to welcome you and ask you to leave at the same time. It's like listening to Journey singing Open Arms and then a clown with 45's hair kicks you in the behind. Sometimes we'd be cruising, and it would be hard to determine which way to go. You know, we spend a lot of time drifting between want and need and carrying each other's load. It's a challenge, feeling too much and caring too little. Weighing feathers and wishes on the same scale, afraid to let on that the emptiness is killing you. And sometimes the needle gets stuck in the groove, like the proverbial hiccup, and it is always music that lifts you past depression and heals what ails. A plan, man. But you know how plans are. They always have other plans. Sight traveling. An inscription on the photo said the heart is a portal. Some pick melody as the way through. Some dance as if on fire. And others write lines to travel time. He was sight traveling, preparing to transition, dancing with the moon, traversing the stars. Come on in here and sit with me a while. Girl, we won't be blue always. Time's a rampant melody, full of stops and starts, And then it's a constant as the rain. Child, you are your mama's daughter. You keep that old indigo cloth for dreaming. Just because you can't see them don't mean they ain't here. And she heard him playing the piano. When she woke up, she heard him singing, you know, mercy, mercy will redeem us, and love will surely find a way. You know, mercy will redeem us, and love will surely find a way. 'Cause joy can't ease a troubled mind, and the blues can't dog all your days. He was calling on the saints, calling on the ancestors to bless them. And in her dreams, she heard Otis Redding singing, "A Change Is Gonna Come." Her man was playing scales, picking up, putting down. Then he back up and start again, his lopsided grin touching her heart, his head thrown back. He was traveling in deep water. Try and track a ghost whose memories are his only currency. Sometimes fevers in the blood and an old riff will just edge you a little further out to sea. And he switched hands as his fingers glided over the keys, the music chasing him. And she smiled and half whispered, half sung, and she knew the way the song would end. How'd she get all tangled up in its melody, hearing the breaks before his fingers ever touched the keys? They were a chorus becoming a choir, a firestorm. If she gets lost in one of those memories that wrings tears from her heart, will he find her and bring her home? They stand on uneven ground, on a hillside, in a graveyard she's only heard about. Funny how dreams stretch time, causing the world to tilt, and she's standing in the doorway, swaying, rubbing her belly, humming, talking to the baby inside, thinking about portals and her mother, thinking about cycles and women, and her man is traveling, lost on the night train, caught up in the space between. And he sings out her name. And she smiles. Fire almost breaking out between them like electricity. You see him. Nova, Nova. She feels the weight of time, sees the lines around his eyes, feels his comfort, knowing they will be more than two. They will be a family. Her heart quickens. A baby's coming, a child. Oh, my, my, my. She just stands there watching, and he plays and plays, drawing out those notes. She almost drowns in his voice as he sings her name. She hums deep and lets it roll through her body, travels with it, listens to her heart. Feelings can heal. She's moaning and humming, all caught up in it. And his song just pushes on through, an echo of love and a surge of power, something raw and pure. And he sings her name, Nova, Nova. And she's touching air, traveling through time to stand at his side.